Hello and welcome to What I Spend in a Week. We are full on prepping for the Thanksgiving holiday and doing a lot of grocery spending. If you're new here, hi, I'm Kathy, a wife and a mother of a toddler, and we are currently on a debt-free journey, a journey towards financial freedom, and doing a low spend challenge for the year. And I have been recording my spending every day to hold myself accountable as we try to keep our expenses low. This week is Thanksgiving week, and fortunately my parents are hosting. They always host, but we do kind of a potluck style when we eat there, and so everyone brings at least one dish. So we will be prepping for that this week. We're actually not doing Thanksgiving until Saturday with them because some of my siblings are going to their in-laws and stuff, so my parents decided to be flexible and we're doing actual Thanksgiving, our whole meal on Saturday, but we will be spending the actual holiday of Thanksgiving baking pies. So that's also a big thing that we do on Thanksgiving. I think we're baking probably 7 pies this year, which is not the most that we baked, but it's still quite a bit of pies. And fortunately for all of those pies, my dad is buying all of the ingredients for that, so we won't have to spend very much on that. Also this week we are doing a potluck for our daughter's daycare. This is a mandatory potluck, so it's something that the school puts together, and so we have to bring a dish for that as well. So we did all of our grocery shopping yesterday. So that's hopefully everything that we need for those 2 meals. We're actually making the same thing. One of those things we're just making twice, one for each of those events, and then something a little bit extra for daycare. But today is Sunday, November 23rd, and yesterday we spent $62.09 at the grocery store getting prepped for the meals that we're cooking this week. So this week we had to stock up on quite a bit of different produce that we wouldn't typically buy and at a larger scale just because we are making food for many people. I think we're going to have 15 people at my parents' get together, and I'm not really sure how much is going to be at daycare. I think she probably has maybe about 15 kids in her class. So that might be like 45 people, but we're not quite sure. No one's actually given us a head count or anything. And the sign-up sheet is pretty empty, so I don't know how many people will be bringing food and what they'll be bringing, but we signed up for 2 things so that we would have food that we could eat at least, and our daughter as well. So that was it for our spending yesterday. And then today, we haven't done any spending yet, but my husband's currently at the grocery store, but he's mostly stocking up on our staples for the week that we will eat. He's stocking up on tofu, which we like to always keep a lot on hand for throwing anything together. It's probably my daughter's favorite food. It's definitely something that she will consistently eat for lunches or dinners, so we like to have that on hand all the time. And then probably more soy milk for her. And my husband, I think, is getting arugula for himself and digestive biscuits for me and my daughter, because those are something we like to have in the mornings with our tea on the days that she's home. And we will be home a lot this week and all of next week. So this week it's a holiday on Thursday and Friday for my work. And I always work from home on Wednesdays, and I'm also working from home on Tuesday, so really the only day I'm going into work this week is Monday. And then the following week I will be staying home all week because my husband will be taking a class nearby our house, and so it wouldn't make sense for him to drive all the way to daycare to take our daughter, and it's also way out of my way to drive her to daycare, so we're all just staying home. Well, he's going to his class, but she and I are staying home the following week. That means we're going to be needing different things for meals this week and next week because I don't typically eat the way I do when I go to work. I like to meal prep before I go to work so that all of my lunches and all of my dinners and all of my breakfasts are ready to just heat up and eat. But when I'm home, I don't mind cooking actual meals and eating them every day. But I just don't have time when I'm at work because I work 9.5-hour days. I have an hour commute, so I leave the house at 6 a.m. and I get home at 5:30 p.m. So it's quite a busy day, and there's no time for cooking on a daily basis. I only have time to cook on Sundays, but while I'm home over the next couple of weeks, I should be able to cook my lunches or cook dinners every single day, or as much as I feel like it. That's the plan for this week. It's going to impact how we buy groceries for the next couple of weeks. Like, we don't have anything planned to eat for lunches and dinners this week. I have a couple things left over from last week's dinners because our daughter didn't end up eating anything that my husband made last week, so we had to throw together a separate meal for her. And so I have extras of a meal that we were both supposed to eat. But I don't have any lunches, so we'll have to throw something together for tomorrow. So my husband's picking up staples today, and I don't know if we're going to be doing any more grocery shopping this week if something comes up and we make a decision about what we're going to be eating for the week. But that's everything for me today. I will be getting paid this week. It might fall early. It usually falls on Wednesdays, but with the holiday, it may come even earlier than that. So I'm looking forward to that so that I can make an extra debt payment towards my retirement account loan. I have had to wait because my bank account is very low right now, so I haven't been able to make any extra payments, and I'm definitely itching to be able to do that because I really want this loan gone. I think it's a little over $6,000, and I would like to get it paid off. But that's what we're looking forward to this week, and I will update you when we make any more purchases or when we get any income. It's Monday, my last day at actual work this week. The rest of the week, I'm going to be working from home or on holiday. We did some spending yesterday. As I mentioned, my husband went to Lidl, but he also filled up my gas tank. So he spent $30.74 at Lidl and $27 to fill up my tank. So that's $57.74 in spending yesterday. So we're over $100 now for the week. And we had an Acorns transfer come out today. So an investment into my after-tax brokerage for $5.28. So that's it so far today. Got to get home and finish making all the food for tomorrow. I will update you if we have to do any more spending this week and when I get paid as well. So, talk to you then. Hello, it's Wednesday. I got paid yesterday, a day early, so that was exciting when I saw that hit my account. That was $3,120.04, and so you know that I immediately went and paid back my retirement account loan with my $3,120, and that did actually also get drafted in the same day. So I'm hoping that by next Tuesday I will have something to show. My loan should be cut in half. Like, that was more than half of what I needed to pay it back. Plus Friday my minimum payment will hit, even though like my paycheck hits my account on Tuesday this week or Wednesday typically. The payment isn't applied to my loan until Friday, so after Friday I will have that minimum payment as well as probably sometime Friday, maybe Monday, that extra payment. So that should bring it down to probably less than $3,000 left on the loan, and then I probably want to just pay it off, but we'll see. But we also did some other spending yesterday. So I went to work with my husband and worked from his office. And we went to the Indian store on the way to pick our daughter up from daycare after her day was done at daycare. And we spent $10.98 on some stuff there. I think we bought a jar of garlic paste and a bag of corn flour. So these are things that we just sometimes use. Well, we use the garlic paste like all the time when cooking because it's so much easier than like chopping up fresh garlic, and buying it from the Indian store is way cheaper than buying it anywhere else. My husband also got gas Monday night. I think. Yeah, so that was $40 that he spent on gas then. So with all of that, our spending for the week is up to $202.26. That was 2 tanks of gas, and the rest of that was groceries. So another heavy spending week for us so far. Mostly with lots and lots and lots of groceries, but we shouldn't have to buy any more groceries. We are pretty much ready for cooking for our Thanksgiving meal that's happening on Saturday. So we'll probably do all of that cooking on Friday. Tomorrow we will be baking pies at my dad's house, and he's supplying all of the ingredients for that, so we didn't need to bring anything to make pies, just my pie pans, because we will be making more pies than he has pie pans for. So my sister and I will both be contributing pie pans, and that's about it. And of course our time and energy actually making the pies, but my dad's buying all the ingredients. Let me know what your favorite pies are for Thanksgiving. We're making quite a bit. I think we're doing pumpkin, sweet potato, lemon, cherry, peach cobbler. So some of these are like not really Thanksgiving pies, but they just wanted a variety of pies. We're probably not going to make a pecan pie this year because last year it was like way too sweet. And so we're just going to put some pecans on the sweet potato pie, I think, which I kind of really like that combination. And then an apple pie as well, at least one apple pie. So it's going to be busy making all the pies tomorrow, and it won't surprise me if they end up eating them before Saturday. I think they did that last time, is we made all of these pies like a day early, and then we ate one of the pies the same day before the actual Thanksgiving. My half-brother still lives at home with my dad and stepmom, so they're there getting tempted by the pies after they're made, so they may start digging into them. So that's everything for me today. I don't think that we really have any plans for like Black Friday shopping. We probably won't get the Christmas lists for the kids in the family until after Thanksgiving, which is a little bit unfortunate if we wanted to try to find deals for them. But we're not planning on getting our daughter anything for Christmas this year again. She'll be getting enough from the rest of our family. She's still like super young and won't even realize. She'd probably get more overwhelmed by getting a whole bunch of new presents than she would enjoy it. And I think my husband and I might be exchanging gifts this year. We didn't do it last year, but I think that we might do it this year. I think we skipped birthdays this year as well, but we might start doing gifts again, especially now that we're whittling away on our debts, and we should have a little bit more spending money to spend on each other or just on our family in general. But we're off for the rest of the week, and I will be working from home all of next week as well, and mostly not really working, probably taking vacation time because I'll have our daughter home with us, and it's pretty hard to work unless she's napping, which she's doing right now. But that's everything for me today, a little bit of an update, and I will talk to you later this week for at least a closeout if we don't spend any more money. Hello, happy Friday. I hope you all didn't go too crazy with your Black Friday shopping. We actually didn't spend any money at all today. We tried to go to the library, but it was closed, so we'll have to go tomorrow to return our daughter's books and pick out some new ones. And that's all of the shopping that we're going to be doing this week, most likely. Probably some groceries on Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to my parents' house for our actual Thanksgiving meal. Yesterday we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. We just went over to my parents' house and baked all of the pies that we're going to be eating for Thanksgiving. Just because it's easier for our family to get together on Saturday. I have a lot of siblings and they all have partners, and so they were all doing other things yesterday except my sister and I. We didn't have any other plans, so we went to my parents' house and made, I think, about 7 pies. I made all of the crusts. So I did an apple pie, a sweet potato pie, a pumpkin pie. Well, we did 2 pumpkin pies. My dad had already made the lemon pie. I made the cherry pie, the crust. I didn't do any of the insides. So we're gonna have so many pies tomorrow. It's gonna be great. My husband's downstairs cooking the roast that we're making for the family. It's a vegan roast, the same roast that we made for the potluck on Tuesday, except this time we're using shiitake mushrooms like it calls for instead of white mushrooms. Because I like those better, but we just went cheap for the potluck at daycare, even though we still went organic. But I don't think very many people tried the roast. There was nothing to like label anything with, so I don't know that people were really sure what it was anyway. But there wasn't very much food, but it was at like 10 a.m., so people probably weren't that hungry yet anyway. But as I said, we didn't do any other spending, so this will just be a recap of our month so far. I guess kind of a recap of the week as well, although I already said everything we spent for the week. So for the month, for income, we brought in $11,575.76. That was 2 paychecks for my husband, 2 paychecks for me, and a little bit of interest. We have yet to get our interest from our high yield savings account and our checking account that pays a bit more interest than my other accounts. So we're probably expecting a little over $100 more to come in this month. But we have spent way more than that. Our variable spending this month was $741.64, which was pretty high. We spend all of our money from our sinking funds, so all of this money was already there and available. This doesn't come out of our paychecks, but what does come out of our paychecks are our fixed expenses. And so that was what I mentioned last week because we didn't have any more bills. So that was $4,116.54 in fixed expenses. And that also includes daycare, which is the majority of that. Daycare and our mortgage are pretty high up there. And then the big spending that we did this month was actually extra debt payments. I made 3 transfers to pay back my retirement account loan this month, which means we have probably just 1 transfer left. I was expecting this last transfer to not go through until December, but I also wanted it to go through before next Tuesday for the Transfer Tuesday. So I initiated it and it actually got withdrawn like right away. So in total, we made $9,511.76 in extra debt payments or transfers. $1,676 was actually transfers to my Acorns account, so that's investing. And the rest of that was paying back my retirement account loan, which is a debt payment, but it's also an investment. So in total, everything that went out this month was $14,369.94. So about $3,000 more than we brought in. So we had to pull that from my sinking fund from savings that I had started building up to use to pay for our extra debt payments. But as I said, this last extra debt payment of $3,120 that I made this week, I wasn't expecting it to come out until December anyway, originally. So we probably wouldn't have gone over more spending than our income if I hadn't made that transfer, but I really wanted to get that loan paid off, so I went ahead and did it. So we pulled from savings this month, and then I think next month we'll probably just put it right back until we figure out what we're going to be doing with some of our extra income that we have, since we won't be paying back the retirement account loan anymore, since I will definitely be paying that back in the next probably 3 weeks, I would say. 3 weeks or less, that will be paid off. But that's it for our spending so far this month. I'll do a recap in next week's video after we get our interest payment, but really nothing else much is going to change unless we go grocery shopping tomorrow or Sunday. Probably not tomorrow because we'll be at my parents'. But if we go grocery shopping, then we might do some more spending, and I'll recap that in next week's video along with the rest of the income that we get from our savings account, interest, and that's probably it for the month. I'll probably also be paying for my Acorn subscription, which is just one more dollar. So this is everything for November. I hope you all had a great November, and I hope this last week was good, that you got lots of food for Thanksgiving if you're here in the US and you celebrate. Hope you had a good time off of work. I'm definitely enjoying all of my extra days off, working from home a little bit, and the 2 holidays. Next week I'll be off all week, working from home, taking some vacation time as well. With my daughter, will be home with us because my husband will be taking a class nearby instead of driving all the way out to work. So he won't be dropping her off, and it will be just a nice little break for us to spend more time at home and do a little bit less work. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm already feeling so much more relaxed without thinking about having to prep for the coming work week. But that's it for me. If you're interested in seeing more of our family's journey as we pay off our debts and work towards financial freedom, then I would love to have you subscribe and follow along. Thank you for being here.